CK घरचा बेस्ट. Good afternoon to everyone. So we wait for another 2 minutes. Let others to join. Right? Good afternoon, everyone. So, in this class, we are going to discuss about the construction of a DC generator. Going to discuss about the construction of a DC generator, right? So, as we all know, if it is a machine, if it is a machine, since it is a DC generator, we all know the input of a DC generator is the mechanical and the output is the electrical energy, right? So that is the basic principle of the generator, right? So with the remembrance with this, a small idea, we will discuss about the construction of a DC generator, right? So now, the major important points of a DC generator is the stator, right? So I think you people can able to see the windows, right? So okay, right? So now, so the outer part is said to be as the stator, right? The outer part is said to be as the stator, whereas it is not a rotating motion. It is not a rotating part. It is to be in the stationary position, right? So in this stator, we are having two portions. One is the back end of the stator, another one is the poles. The back end of the stator, another one is the stator poles, right? So coming to the, if you see the if you see the widthness, if you see the width of the back ion as well as the width of the poles, if you see, it is double the time, right? So if it is 1, if it is 1 and here it is 2, right? If it is 1 and here the pole width is 2, right? So from this idea, so just remember this point. So this is an important point when the flux is traveling in the poles, right? So the width of the back ion is 1 and the width of the pole, it should be double the time of the back ion width, right? It should be 2 or more than 2, right? So now coming to this aspect, right? So next one be the rotor. Next one be the rotor. So coming to the rotor, we are having the centermost portion. The centermost portion be the shaft. The centermost portion is the shaft. And coming to this shaft, so this shaft is made up of a non-magnetic material. The shaft is made up of a non-magnetic material. So why we are going for this non-magnetic material, right? So if we go with a non-magnetic material, the tell me, pa, somebody raised their hands. Who is that? Wait. Sai Krishna. Sai, tell me, pa. Sai, unmute yourself and tell me.
Just it will take me. In the morning, I have conducted for the family students. Then I have completed my classes. Just 10 questions. Know how much time it will take. MCQs. Just you have to indicate and you have to submit it. So, then we'll start.
Suppose if you are having any doubts, just unmute yourself and ask me the question.
Sir, voice చిన్నగా వినిపిస్తాను సార్.
Sir, your voice is too low, sir.
Too low, okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Now, pa, now okay,
Now it is okay, sir.
okay, pa, right. So now coming to the shaft. So the shaft is made up of a non-magnetic material. The shaft is made up of a non-magnetic material, whereas the other part, such as the stator or rotor, is made up of a magnetic material, right? So reason why is the flux has to be travel in the core region. Then only we can able to get a higher efficiency as the output, right? So if we go with a wider diameter of the shaft, we can able to reduce the weight of the machine also. right? So these are the mechanical consideration, right? And then so the so this region where I am showing you, so this one is said to be as the armature back ion, armature back ion, and the projected portion, So this one is said to be as the poles, the rotor poles, right? So the rotor pole is said to be as the outward projected poles. The rotor poles is said to be as the outward projected poles, whereas the stator is said to be as the inward projected poles. The stator is said to be as the inward projected poles, right? Moreover, the stator poles and rotor poles is having a pole shoes. The stator poles and the rotor poles is having pole shoes, right? So we can able to see a wider at the tip of the poles in case of both stator as well as in the case of rotor, right? So this is why, because we can able to eliminate the torque ripple. We can able to eliminate the torque ripple. So how can we eliminate the torque ripple means? So by the passage of flux, we can the passage of flux which is going away from its path. The passage of flux which is moving away from its path can be eliminated, right? So that is why we can able to reduce the torque ripple, right? So this is one of the advantages of the pole shoes. Now coming to the most important part of the generator is the commutator and the brush arrangement. The commutator and the brush arrangement, right? So why I told this commutator and brush arrangement is the important part. The reason here is because the armature current or the induced EMF in the generator will have an AC voltage or a AC current in the armature, right? So it is a DC generator. It is a DC generator, and now we want to convert this AC into a DC. We want to convert this AC into a DC. So how to convert this AC into DC? So that be the big question here, right? Because we are not using any electronic component, we are using only a machine here, right? So we want to convert AC into a DC. So for this purpose, what we are going to do use here, we are going to use a commutator arrangement. We are going to use a commutator arrangement. So this portion is said to be as the commutator. This portion is said to be as a commutator. So how many number of commutator we have to use? So that be our next question, right? So how many number of commutator we have to use? So the number of slots, see here, we can able to see a slot here, right? So this one is said to be as slots. So slot is nothing but where we are placing a windings, where we are placing a, so this one is said to be as these slots. The space where we are keeping winding the coils is said to be as these slots, right? So how many number of slots we are having? So depend upon the number of slots. So number of slots should be equal to number of commutator segments, right? So number of slots should be equal to number of commutator segments, right? So this commutator, this commutator is found in the rotor. This commutator is found in the rotor. So what we are saying here, so the use of commutator is to convert a alternating AC, that is alternating supply, it is a induced EMF, that is the voltage, into a DC, that is a direct voltage or a direct EMF, right? So how to convert this? So the only one device what we are using here in a DC generator is the commutator. So the commutator is used to convert an alternating supply into a direct supply, right? So now now we want to take the supply outside. We want to take the supply outside, right? So how to take the supply outside? We cannot able to take the supply directly from the commutator, right? So in order to take the supply direct from the generator, we are going for the brush arrangement. We are going for the brush arrangement, right? So this black color some portion is projected. So this portion is said to be as the brushes, right? So how many number of brushes here? Here we are having brush 1, and at the bottom side we are having brush 2, and here we are having brush 3, and the either side, on the opposite side we are having a brush 4, right? So totally 4 brushes. So why we are going for 4 brushes? So that depends upon the number of poles. It depends upon the number of poles. If you are using a 2 pole machine, right? If you are using a two-pole machine, right? I will show you now. If you are using a two-pole machine, we are going to use only two brushes, right? We are going to use only two brushes. Suppose if you are going for a four-pole machine, you are going for a four-pole machine, so we are going to use four brushes. See here, suppose if I change the number of poles as two, if I change the number of poles as two, we can able to see only two brushes here, right? So see here, the starter pole is changed into two, and then coming to the commutator segment. So the commutator segment will not have any change. Only change available here is with respect to the brush arrangement. With respect to the brush arrangement. Here we are going to have only two brushes. See here, we are having one brush here. We are having one brush here, right? And another brush is at the opposite side, right? So we are having two brushes. One is here and another one is here. So what is the need of this brush? So we all say the need of brush is to take the supply outside from the generator, right? We have to take the supply outside from the generator. So why we are going for these brushes, right? So suppose if you are using the brush with a material named as a carbon, the material name as carbon, that is to a hard carbon, right? So why we are going for this type of material means, so if you are taking a current or if you are taking a voltage from the generator, it may lead to some spark arrangement, right? It needs to some spark arrangement. In order to reduce the spark arrangement, we are going for the brushes so that we can be able to take the supply easily from the generator. So that is one of the main reason why we are going for the brushes in case of generator. In case of motor, so brushes and commutator used to give the supply to the stator terminals, right? In case of generator, we are going to take the supply from the generator, right? So that is the use of the commutator and brush arrangement. So the thing what we want to remember here is we want to the number of commutator segment used is depend upon the number of slots in the rotor, number of slots in the rotor or the armature, right? And the number of brush arrangement is depend upon the number of poles, is depend upon the number of poles. So these 2 points are the important and the major part of the stator. Without this commutator and brush arrangement, we cannot able to take the power outside, right? So this be the major important consideration for the construction of a DC machine, right? It can be a motor or it can be a generator. So this be the major portion, right? Coming here, this brush arrangement is a fixed one, right? This brush arrangement is a fixed one, right? It is, so fixed one means what it will make, right? So if it is a completely fixed one, there is a drawback here, right? If it is fixed to this commutator segment, what will happen? It will not allow the commutator to rotate. It will not allow the commutator to rotate. So for this purpose, what they are doing, we are making a spring arrangement with the brushes. It is not fixed as 100%, right? It is not fixed as a 100% in rough manner. We are using a spring arrangement for the arrangement of the brushes such that it allows the commutator to rotate. It allows the commutator to rotate. So this arrangement is given by means of a spring balance, spring arrangement setup, right? Now, and now coming to the housing, that is the outer case, right? So the outer case for the production purposes, the generator has to be protected from the thermal consideration, right? That is generator, we are not going, suppose if you are using a generator and in our any of the applications, we are not going to place the stator and rotor as it is, right? So we have to cover for the production purposes, right? So this be the outer production, that is the housing. What we are saying, it is the housing, this is the outer cover for the mechanical consideration, right? So what this is the outer is for only for the mechanical consideration. Our main aim is to in the form of electrical aspect. So here the major part what we are discussing here is the stator the rotor, right? The stator will have a winding, the rotor will have a winding. So the winding is be classified into two types. One is for the lap winding, another one is for the wave winding. Yeah, unmute yourself and you can ask question. If you have any doubts, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Sir,
Sir,
I'm not
again,
able to hear
the
your voice,
voice is
sir.
Still, you are not able to hear my voice.
now okay, sir.
Oh, okay, but it may be some signal problem here, right? Okay, I will try to increase. Okay, okay. Okay, anyhow, I will share the video link, right? Hello?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I will share the video link to you, right? Okay. If there is any doubt also, you can meanwhile you can raise your hands and ask. Right? Don't hesitate to ask questions.
Suddenly voice is going low, sir. Again, it's coming big.
It's coming. Okay, okay. Okay. So coming to the stator windings. So this stator winding, see, we can able to see, right? So this is how the current is moving, right? This is how the current is moving in the stator windings, right? So coming to the armature winding, so this armature winding can be discussed with two aspects. One is lap winding, another one is wave winding, right? Lap winding. So you just remember 2 points, right? So if it is a lap winding, we will say that the number of parallel path is equal to number of poles. The number of parallel path is equal to number of poles. If it is a wave winding, the number of parallel path is equal to 2, right? So only these 2 points you remember. So remaining things we will discuss in the further class, right? Because it is a overview of the construction, right? Right. Suppose if it is a wave winding, so now we are going to see the winding diagram. So how this wave winding? So see here. So this is the winding diagram for the wave winding of a generator, right? Wave winding of a generator. So this winding concept under we will see in the next class because it is a long process, right? Now, so the major part of the construction, what we have to remember here is stator, rotor, commutator, and the brushes, right? So coming to the stator, we have to discuss with the stator poles as well as the back ion. When you come to the rotor, we have to discuss with the poles which is projected outside with respect to the pole shoes, and then we have to discuss with the windings, types of winding what we are using, right? So these are the 5 points you have to remember. These are the basic 5 points you have to remember, right? Now, now we are going to see how an EMF is induced in a machine. How an EMF is induced in a machine. So the basic principle how a DC generator is located or a voltage is induced, right? So just consider here we are having a north pole, right? We are having a north pole, and consider the opposite pole, and consider this one be the south pole, right? So we all know the magnetic lines of force travels from the north pole to the south pole. The magnetic lines of force travels from the north pole to the south pole. So the magnetic lines of force is traveling from north pole to the south pole, right? So right. So now what I'm going to do, I just going to place a conductor here. I just going to place a conductor. right? I'm going to place a conductor here, right? So consider this one be the conductor. Now, what I want to do, I want to know the direction of the current here. I want to know the direction of the current. Sorry, direction of the current. So what is the direction of current here? We know the direction of magnetic field remains constant. It travels from north pole to the south pole, north pole to the south pole. So this is the direction of current, flux density, right? Direction of flux density. So I am considering that. So if you go for a coil type of winding, if I go with a coil type of winding here, I just draw the one turns here. And here we are going to have a brushes, right? And here we are having a brushes. And then now we are taking the supply outside from the brushes to the battery backup, right? Or a DC supply source if it is a motor, right? Now consider the supply is entering the coil, right? The supply is entering the coil. And take this one as commutator segment 1 and this be as commutator segment 2, right? And consider this one as brush 1 and consider this portion as brush 2, right? Now, now, so this is the current direction, right? This one is the current direction, right? So now what I want to know, I want to know the direction of force now, right? So we know the direction of flux density, we know the direction of current. Now I want to know the direction of the force, right? Because what is the principle says, when a conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it will experience a force. It will experience a force. So what is the direction of the force? So that we want to know. So to calculate the direction of the force, so there is a formula here. Just force is equal to current into flux density. Force is equal to current into flux density, right? So what we want to do? We want to multiply the current with the flux density. Now see here. So the direction of current is upward. The direction of current is, so for better clarity, I will draw the two-dimensional view. I go for a two-dimensional here. And this one be the north pole and this one be the south pole, right? So I have a conductor here. And now I want to name the conductor here as A and this one be B. I am going to take this one as C and I'm going to take this one as D, right? And this is the coil side AB and this one is the coil side CD, right? So now I am having the current direction which is going inward, the current direction which is going inward. So in yesterday class we discussed the inward direction of current is cross. The inward direction of current is cross, right? So the current is moving inward, right? The current is moving inward and the magnetic force that is the magnetic lines of forces flux density, that direction is moving from north pole to south pole, right? So if you want to know the direction of the force, if you want to know the direction of force experienced by the conductor, what the formula says, we want to multiply the current with the flux density. We want to multiply the current with the flux density. We should not multiply the flux density with the current. We have to make a product of current with flux density. So this is the direction of current what we have, and this one is the direction of flux density what we have. So what we want to do, we want to multiply the current direction to the flux density. So what is the direction of force experienced now? It is coming downwards. It is coming downwards, right? So this is the direction of force. So this is the direction of force for the conductor, which is at the side of A, B, which is the side of A and B. Now I'm going to take this coil side CD. I'm going to take the coil side CD. So the coil side CD, what is the direction of current? It is coming outward. The direction of current is coming outward. So outward means it is a dot symbol. It is a dot symbol. Again, the direction of current is coming outward. The direction of current is coming outward, and the flux density direction remains same. Flux density direction remains same. Now again, what is the formula? To want to identify the direction of force, if you want to identify the direction of force, what I want to do, again I want to multiply the current with the flux density. I want to multiply the current with the flux density. So I want to multiply the current direction. So this one is the direction of current with the direction of flux density. So what is the direction? It is in upward direction. The force is coming in upward direction. So if you see, so this is the force direction for the conductor, that is a coil side CD, right, which is upward, and the force direction for the coil side AB, which is coming on the downward, right? So from this we can able to say now the coil is now rotating. Now the coil is now rotating, is now going to move from this position to the another position, right? So now I am going to consider. Now I am going to consider, right? Again, for the better idea, we are going for the two-dimensional view, right? So this one be the north pole and this one be the south pole, right? Again, I am just take a conductor here, take a conductor here, right? So, so the direction of current is inward. So I make it as a cross here. And now the conductor is now rotating in a circle manner, right? So now the conductor is going to rotate in this circle manner, right? So this be the initial position, right? This be the initial position, right? Now, if this conductor, if this conductor in this position, what is happening? Definitely, it will cut the magnetic lines of forces. It will cut the magnetic lines of forces. So this one be the magnetic lines of force. So at this position, it cuts the magnetic lines of force and give an EMF induced, and it produces an EMF induced here, right? Right. It is going to produce an EMF induced, right? So So just consider at the zero, right? At this portion, we are obtaining a maximum at this portion, right? Now, what happens? Now I am placing a conductor here, right? So what is the angle here? The angle here is 90 degrees. The angle here is 90 degrees. So at the angle of 90 degrees, so up to this we remember. And next one, now we are rotated the conductor, right? The conductor is moving in this fashion. The conductor is moving in this fashion, and this conductor is moving in this fashion, right? The conductor is moving like this. So at this case, what is happening? This coil side will become as C, and this coil side will become as D, right? And this coil side will become as A, and this coil side will become as B, right? So this is how the coil side be reversed. Now, with respect to this coil, the commutator segment also will be rotated. Whereas in case of a AC generator, this commutator, the slip ring will be available. In case of AC, the slip ring will be available. Whereas in case of DC, we are having a commutator, right? So in case of AC, the slip ring will not move. In case of AC, the slip ring will not move, right? Whereas in case of DC, the slip ring will be rotated with respect to the brushes, irrespective of the brushes. So initially at the angle of initial position, the commutator will be with the C1 will be with brush B1, and the commutator segment C2 will be with the brush B2, right? Now, when the rotation is happening, the C1 commutator segment will be connected to the B2, and the C2 commutator segment will be connected to the B1. So why it is so, right? So what is the advantages of this? What is the advantage of this one, right? Right. So what is the advantage of this? So this will try to remove the torque reversal. This will try to remove the torque reversal, right? So what is then torque reversal, right? So why we want to remove the torque reversal? So that we want to know, right? So why we want to remove the torque reversal? So when this torque reversal will occur, in last class we discussed that the torque is directly proportional to the current, right? Because torque is the potential energy and the current is the kinetic energy. So the machine is having a crosswise relationship. So that we discussed in the previous class. You just remember that. So torque is directly proportional to the current. Torque is directly proportional to the current, whereas torque is the potential energy and current is the kinetic energy, right? So if torque is reversing, what happens? The current also is reversing. The torque is reversing. The current also is said to be reversing, right? So we are saying that this commutator, what is the use of this commutator? The commutator is now going to reverse the current direction in the armature. Is going to reverse the current direction in the armature, right? Is going to reverse the current direction in the armature. So why this commutator want to reverse the current direction in the armature? So that be our next question, right? So it is a armature. It is a armature. It can be a motor or it can be a generator. Whatever may be the current that is flowing in the rotor, it is a alternating current. It is a alternating current. So alternating current means what? We are going to have plus and minus. We are going to have a positive current as well as the negative current, right? Since it is a DC generator, since it is a DC generator, since it is a DC generator, right? We want to get only the positive cycle. We want to get only the positive cycle, right? So this type of reversing the current, this type of reversing the direction of current is achieved by this commutator. This is achieved by this commutator. So that's what I told in the beginning of the section. The commutator segment is the very important concept for the DC generator, right? So that's all about the construction. And coming to the working, so the basic idea of the working is F is equal to I into B. So the in-depth we will go with the working of the DC generator in the coming classes, as well as how the EMF is induced, and we are getting an AC EMF and how this AC EMF is now converted into DC EMF. That also we will discuss deeply in the next class, right? So if there is any doubt, you can raise your hands. Unmute yourself and you can ask questions. Okay, thank you. If there is any doubt, you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions. If there is any doubt, you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions. So I will conclude this section. So today's class we discuss about the construction of the machine, that is a DC generator, and what are the functions and what are the basics functions of the DC commutator, that is the commutator segments, right? In the coming classes, we are going to discuss about the working principle and how the EMF is induced, right? So thank you for the section.